Hey, congratulations on finding this video. Give yourself or the person next to you a high five for finding it. This is really good that you found this. I have a lesson for today, but before we get started, a couple announcements. If in Delta Math you have not done this topic 5 test alternative, please do it. I'm trying to help your grade out. And by doing that, including the corrections on it, like the test corrections on it, you're going to help your grade go up. You all deserve a higher grade, but I can't give you a higher grade if I don't have the points to give it to you, right? So what we're going to be learning about today, though, and then anything else that you haven't finished in Delta Math, if this was really a student's work, they would not have a very good grade because they haven't finished everything. But I wanted to show you now today, our new lesson is we talked about, we did Pythagorean theorem on Wednesday. On Thursday, we did SOH CAH TOA. So today they're getting married. Oh, okay. So we're going to be using them together. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to start here on one of the problems. So you should be able to remember what SOH CAH TOA means. And the nice thing is about saying SOH CAH TOA is it reminds you that the sign, I don't know if you guys can see up here, the sign is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Yes, the CAH is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And the TOA is the opposite over the adjacent. That's like what we mean when we say SOH CAH TOA, right? Okay, so we're going to use it to help us find these answers. Before we go on, I want you to notice that it says a fraction in simplest terms. That's key. That's what we want. We want a fraction in simplest terms. Okay, so we've got to find our missing side, right? Well, actually, let's first of all look and see what we have. We want I, and let me see, can I point to it? Does it let me point to it? Can I tap on it? If I tap on it? Nope, you can't. Okay. We have this 20, we want the cosine of I. Well, this one's pretty nice because here's I. Can't point to it. How can I point to it? If I were to, is this extended my screen? No. Yes, almost. Huh. So close. Oh, good. Okay. So here's this 23 right here, right? That's the adjacent side to I. And here's the 25. That's the hypotenuse to I. So I'm just going to write this down. So the cosine of an angle, and in this case, it's I. I should undo that and just do I. The cosine of I would be the adjacent side, which on this one is 23 over 25. And we want to make sure that that is in its simplest terms as possible. And how we can do that, which this one is, I can just tell you that it is, but let's just go and pretend like we don't know. You can get the scientific calculator on here. You can also get decimals. In fact, I think decimals would be easier. I'm going to do decimals. The only problem is when I'm on my iPad like this, it like goes berserko. So let's try. Okay. It's going to get caught up in just a second. I believe in it. Here it goes. Yay, it did. Okay, so 23 out of 25. So you can type it in like this. You can then push, do you remember this button? Is it going to let me go again here? This button right here, right? Is it coming? Is it pointing? There it is. That button right there is what we want to push and just make sure it's simplified. Okay. We'll see if this works okay. Nice. It's going to go back and okay. It's thinking. Okay, so when it says fraction in simplest terms, make sure it's a fraction. So I would do 23 over 25 and submit answer. Notice it's not multiple choice like it was yesterday. Okay, next problem. Now I want the tangent. So I want the tangent of W. Well, I know that the tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So from W, the tangent of W. So here's W right here. Tangent is the opposite side. Uh-oh, we don't know it. Over the adjacent side, which thankfully we do. So I'm going to come over here and I don't know this side. over 4 is what I want. Now, what do we have to help us find a missing side? The Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so then we have to identify, are we trying to find a leg or are we trying to find a hypotenuse for this one? It's a leg. Just as a hint, like if it is attached to the right angle, like to this sign right here, it's a leg. So we want to find a leg. So the formula that we're going to use is the hypotenuse squared minus the leg squared. And we can use Desmos to do that, especially if it goes kind of fast. It's not. We'll pretend. Okay, so the square root of 5 squared minus 4 squared. Huh, that's 3. How nice is that? So we're going to come back in here, and that's equal to 3. So, but that was our missing side, right? So the 3 is our missing side up here. So it would be 3 over 4. That took so long. I apologize. Okay, so it's 3 over 4. So we figured out that this missing side was 3. The tangent of W was 3 over 4. So what I would type in right here, wow, that's so zoomed in, is 3 over 4. And you can double check that it's reduced if you want to, and you should. Okay, these are just my example ones, right? Okay, so this is another great one to try out. We want the cosine of J. So J, as you can see, is right here, right? And it would be the adjacent side, which we don't know. So we're going to have to find it. So I want the cosine of J is equal to the adjacent side, which we don't know. So I'm going to put A for adjacent side, over the hypotenuse, which I can see is 26. So to find my adjacent side, I would use the square root of the hypotenuse, so 26 squared, minus the other leg squared, so the opposite side squared, using a calculator. And you can do that in here also, so I don't have to go back and forth with Desmos being super slow. So 26 squared, subtract 10 squared, and I get that the adjacent side is equal to 24. So that means the cosine of J is equal to 24 over 26. Now, this still says a fraction in simplest terms, right? So now we're going to have to figure out if that's a fraction in simplest terms, 24 over 26. Hopefully you can see that they're even, and it wouldn't be. So I'm going to come into here. I'm going to stay in here because you can do it in Desmos. I'm just going to stay in here because I don't like to go back and forth with this app. So 24 divided by 26. Notice it gives you a decimal. You're going to use that next time. Foreshadowing. But then you're going to do funcs. And have you guys seen if you push frac there, it'll give you the fraction. Do you guys see my fraction? It says right here is 12 over 13. So I just have to type in 12 over 13 and then put, okay, thanks. So right here, we're going to do 12 over 13. So I used my calculator and I got that it was 12 over 13. Good. Hopefully. Oh, wow. There's that. Yay. We got it. All right. So that's 3 examples. If you need to see more, yeah, watch it. Okay. So this is level 2. This is what the foreshadowing is about. So with these, level 2 is you're going to do the exact same steps. It's just now, instead of a fraction, you're going to have things like the nearest hundredth or the nearest tenth or things like this. So here we go. I want to find, it tells me that I want to find the sine of F. So here's F, right? And the sine of F is going to be the opposite side. Uh-oh, we don't know it. So it's going to be the opposite side over the hypotenuse, which is 11. So that's nice. We at least know 11. That looks like, doesn't look like an O, but it is. We need an O. So we want the opposite side. 0, sorry, is equal to the square root of, now the hypotenuse was 11 squared minus, ready for this? The square root of 51 squared. The square root of 51 squared is just 51, but I can show you that we can work with it just as it is because we accept numbers however they are. Except for if we wanted a reduced fraction, we wanted. So first we need to find the opposite side by doing the square root. Oh, maybe I'll get rid of that so it's not confusing. So the square root of 11 squared subtract the square root of 51. And now I'm going to get out of the square root squared. Oh, that's not squared. Backspace. Squared. So I got whatever that is, right? So I'm just going to go like this. It was about equal to 8.36. Oh, it's an evil number. Okay, so we'll just say 366,600. Doesn't matter what it is, but I want to show you this cool trick with the decimals calculator that you cannot, with this calculator that you can't do with decimals, but it's really nice, right? Okay, so this is what should go right there, right? So what I want is I want this number divided by 11. So look at this button. Do you guys see this button right here? ANS. That means we're going to take this answer. So I'm going to push enter on it. I'm going to push enter here. Does it like it? Nope. Enter. Okay. Did it work? Enter. There. Okay. So I'm going to take that answer that I just figured out, the 8 point blah, blah, blah. Is it working? Nope, I have to push it on here. Take the answer, and I'm going to divide it by 11. Okay, so all of the sine and cosine are going to be less than 1. If it's more than 1, it's definitely wrong. Did you hear that? Let me say it one more time. Sines and cosines will always be less than 1, right? But the tangent can be more than 1. Okay. So we want to put that down here and we want to round it to the nearest hundredth. As a reminder, the hundredths place is 2 places after the decimal. So we have 0.7606. So the hundredths place is this one. And we want to decide if it's going to stay, the same, if it's going to rest or soar based on the one to the right of it. So we're going to look at the one to the right of it. Since it was 0, that means it's going to just be 0.76. So right here, it's 0.76 or 0.76. So the sign of is 0.76. Okay. Okay, now this one, this is good. I'm glad we did this. Look at this one. Do you see what the directions say? It says a fraction in simplest terms. And we've got these nasty radicals here, right? It's going to be okay. Take a big breath. Say, I have a calculator. I can do this. Okay. So let's go and recognize that we have a calculator. So we want to do the sine of C. We need to identify C. It's right here. The sine is the opposite side. So I can go like this, the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite side on this one, so the opposite of C, here's C, and straight across from C is the square root of 35. And the hypotenuse, we don't know, so I'm just going to leave it as H. So now we're going to find H. So if you look on the board as a reminder of how to find the hypotenuse, it's the square root of the sum, so it's going to be plus, of the squares of the legs. So one leg is the square root of 86, and we'll square that. And then the other one is the square root of 35, and we'll square that. Now, I know that 100% me going back and watching the previous problem that we did, it bugs me that I put in the square root and the squared, because a square root and a square, it's like multiplying and dividing by the same number at the same time. Why would you write both of them? So this is what I'm going to actually type in. So the square root and the square, they undo each other. It's like it never even happened. So it really would just be the square root of 86 plus 35. Do you see that? So like the square root and the square, they like, they vanish. So I'm going to find out what that is. I'm going to do my handy dandy calculator. And we'll do the square root of 86 plus 35. I probably should have gotten rid of the one above. And that's 11. How nice. So our hypotenuse is just cute little baby 11. It's not like crazy square root. Aww. So then we're going to bring that up here and put it in place of that h. So our final answer for the sine of c would be the square root of 35 over 11. So that's what a fraction, when it says fraction, you don't want the decimal, you want the fraction. And this is where it stumps most people, is they don't look at those directions. So they type in the decimal and they're like, oh, I know I did it right. And you did. It's just that it's that fraction versus a decimal. So square root of 35. By the way, when you type in the square root of 35, you don't, let me show you, like it's not the same, like this over 11 is not the same as what's over there, like what's above there, or wherever it is from where my picture is. So you don't want to keep on typing the divided by arrow out of it. So you're not in the square root and then divide. See how I now have a separate square root on top? Can you see that? I have a separate square root on top. That's what you want. Over 11. Yes, I'm making sure the sine of C is indeed like making sure that these two are the same, and they are. That means I'm a champion. I've done it. Okay, the cosine of u. It sounds like I'm talking about a person. That should be like a movie. The cosine of u. So the cosine of u. So u is right here. Cosine is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And in this picture, the adjacent to u is 20. The hypotenuse is 27. What? How nice. We get a pretty one. So now, and we're supposed to do it as a fraction in simplest terms. So I'm going to make sure that that's a fraction in simplest terms by using the calculator. And I'm going to do 20 over 27 funcs frac, and it still says it's 20 over 27. So that means it is a fraction in simplest terms. So my answer of cosine of u is 20 over 27. Nice, right? So cosine is 20 over 27. All right. Last part, and I threw these in here, but not as many. You don't have as many as you did on the other one. These are the same types of things with no picture. Ah! So if there's no picture, my biggest recommendation is draw a picture, right? So we want to find, so I'm going to draw the little triangle. I'm just going to draw a triangle, kind of like the generic one that we had up on the board, right? There's the 90 degrees, and it says that this is F, and then there's an E, and there's a D. So it says that ED is 37, and FE is 12, and DF is 35. And we are supposed to find the sine of D. So the sine of D, and I'm going to do something that's a little bit weird. Well, I know it's the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. And from D, so here's D, the opposite is 12. The hypotenuse is 37, right? Does that make sense? Another thing that we could do, just for the sake of what we're looking at, the sine of D would be the opposite, which would be EF over ED. That was a little bit extra. Didn't necessarily have to do that. But notice that this answer is asking for the nearest hundredth. Do you see it's asking for the nearest hundredth? So we want this as a nearest hundredth. So we're just going to do 12 divided by 37 with whatever calculator you fancy. And so 12 divided by 37. Again, notice that the sign is less than 1. It should be. It can be negative, but it has to be less than 1. I guess and greater than negative 1. Okay, so, oh, dang it. What did I get? Dumb. It went away. I should have written it down. I regret it. I regret it. Okay, so 12 divided by 37. So I got, and I need it to the nearest hundredth. So if I got 0.32432, then this is what I'm going to be rounding. I look at the number to the right of it, and since it is literally 4 or less, we're going to let it rest. So it's going to be 0.32 is what I want to write. So 0.32. Ba-da-bum. Okay, nice. And it gives you this lovely explanation of everything. Just as another example, and maybe something that you might have noticed. No, I have to draw the picture. Okay, so we want triangle IJK. So I'm going to just draw the triangle. Doesn't have to be accurate, right? And it says K is the 90 degrees. And then there's a J and there's an I. So JI is 37 again. IK is 35 and JK is 12. I think it's really funny that these are the exact same numbers. Weird. Okay, so we want the tangent of I. So I'm just going to use now the letters. So the tangent of I. So here's my I right there, right? The tangent is the opposite. So that's JK is the opposite over the adjacent, which is IK. And JK was 12. IK was 35. Now, this has a different question than the last one. The last one said to the nearest hundredth, and this says, what is the ratio that represents the tangent of I? So we do just want 12 over 35. Over 35. Oh, especially if you type it right, 35. Okay, so those are my examples. Hopefully they made sense. If they didn't make sense, you can ask on Monday. You can watch this video again. You can watch the videos that go back to, let me see, back to, oh, I finished the whole assignment, huh? Let's go into another example. Keep practicing. You can watch these videos, right? Watch the videos that are right here. You can see the examples, and it should help you. You have a lot of tools to do it. So again, finish this assignment, then go back into IXL if you haven't finished the IXL assessment. And then if you haven't finished the topic 5 alternative and the corrections for it, do that. Those are going to be the biggest ways to bring your grade up. And if you have watched this video all the way to the end, I want you to go into the comments of this video on Google Classroom and comment the word with the word umbrella. If you comment with the word umbrella, I will give you extra credit. So thanks for watching all the way. Good job. Okay, and have a good night or day. It's night for me.